back to Bethan's kitchen and garden. Today I'm over the allotment and I'm continuing my nighttime visits where I'm updating you with what I'm doing. And today the priority is watering, as we're in the middle of a heat wave and these plants need a good old water. So before I do that, I'm going to get in my borlotti beans, because they really need to go in the ground, and they have flown on in my greenhouse in the last 10 days since I was away. So they really need to get in the ground now so that they grow in time for me to harvest the beans and dry them. But if they don't dry in time, I shall just harvest them and probably put them in my freezer and use them that way. But let's get on with planting those beans. Here's my root trainer with the remainder of the beans. I had very poor germination with my beans the first time round, which is why I'm only now getting them into the ground. And this is one of my root trainers. And I think I'm going to have 1 or 2 plants left over. I'll have to decide what to do with them at a later date. Now, this is quite a tricky thing to do one-handed, but I shall give it my best go. They're well established, as you can see, and I don't want to rip the root. So, sometimes it takes a bit of patience. So make sure it's firmed in, and then just backfill with the soil. And I'll give that a good old water in. I'll do the one more, and then I'll water, and then I'll do the rest. And I'll show you how I'm doing once it's done. I'm always saying that, and I'm not sure it makes much sense. So I just need to wrap the growing bit around, and sometimes it doesn't stick, sometimes it doesn't stay, sometimes it does, and today it has. So I'm just going to backfill again. This bed was prepped with half manure and half multi-purpose compost at the start of the growing season. So I'll crack on with the rest of these now, and I'll bring you back once I'm doing the watering. That's both sides now planted up. I've got 3 in this side and 4 in the other. So I'll give it a quick water. I did water this morning with the plan to come over and plant these out tonight. Right, and we'll just come around here and I'll show you what I did with the other 2 leftovers. Can you see it yet? So I had a little bit of space where these celeriac are. I just popped these on the end. And if they grow, they grow. And if they don't grow, well, they don't grow. Simple as that. Here is my wheelbarrow with 2 20-litre jerry cans, I suppose you'd call them, which I'm going to take up to the top of the plot and start watering the Swedes and beans. So this is the section I'm going to water tonight, and around to here, and then I'll do my tomatoes with the other bottles, which I'll show you when I bring them. So in terms of watering, I just give every plant a thorough dousing, and I just keep going until I've run out of water. I don't do a little bit here like that and then a little bit there. I thoroughly drench it until I can see a proper well around the plant, and then I move on. This is how I did it last year, and I found that the plants did really well with that method. And it just means that I have to prioritize certain plants, and other plants I have to get round to watering whenever I can. I just refilled the watering can, and now I'm just doing the other side. In an ideal world, I would have taken the netting off and got really down close to the soil, but I'm up against the time really, so I've got to water through the netting, and I feel confident with this watering that I'm doing tonight that these plants should be okay now for another 3 to 4 days, especially with the mulch that I've got around them, because you'll be surprised how much moisture that mulch locks in. So as I've mentioned before, there isn't any water on this site at all, so I just have to bring my water over, fill it up at home and bring it over, which is a little bit frustrating, to be honest, but there we are. That is how it is. If you were looking for an allotment, or your name is down for an allotment, make sure you have water on site, because it really is very tedious having to fill it up and bring it over. But that's enough of my whinging now. I'm going to get on with watering the rest of this little plot that I showed you, and a little patch up here that I showed you, and then I won't have time to do any harvesting, so I'll probably do that first thing in the morning. So I'll catch you tomorrow. Night. My plants have been thwarted by the weather. I've not been over here for the last couple of days as we've had a lot of rain and thunderstorms, which is great for the garden as it really needed a water. And when I did come over, I'd been concentrating on my tomatoes. So I'll show you what I've done with them now. So this is my tomato bed, one of them anyway. And I've just spent time side shooting and then tying in the stems, so they're all upright and quite safe and secure. I've also done this bed here, and I have begun to harvest a couple of tomatoes as well. Some of them are a bit behind and some of them are a bit ahead. So I don't know what to say about them. These ones don't seem to want to put on any more growth. They've been stunted in the stem there. And it seems to be the same for all this variety, which is, I've got the pots that I grew them in there, I've got their numbers on. And the reason the pots are next to them is I water into the pot. So that's number 14, which I believe was amateur. So these 4 are 14 and they've all stunted. And I'm pretty sure amateur isn't a bush variety, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with them. But they are ripening, so that one can come home with me today. If I can. There we are. I'll leave that there and grab that on my way out. just coming up to the long tomato bed, I thought I'd show you the sweet corn because it's not grown very big, but it's got its tassels, or beginning to get the tassels on the top. So I'm not quite sure what to say about this sweet corn. I'm not holding out much hope for cobs from it. But the other one is doing well further down. And this bed of tomatoes I got about halfway through and ran out of time, so I just need to tie in the other half from here. As you can probably tell, because they're looking a bit bushy and not up straight. But I'm not going to do that at the moment because I want to concentrate on harvesting my blackberries. And I also spent time tying in the Turk's turban squashes, which got a squash growing down there. And I'm afraid that's as far as I got because my battery ran out on my camera, and 3 weeks have now passed since I filmed that a little bit, and I haven't been over here much at all as I've been away for a week, and then I've been coming over and doing harvesting, but the summer's just got away from me and I've just been having a nice time gallivanting with my children. So it's all looking a bit unkept over here, and I was hoping to get a full day over here today. It's bank holiday Monday, but it is really warm, so I'm gonna just do a harvest of a few things and then I might head home because it's not really safe to be working in this weather. I'm gonna go and get my hat on now, and I'm gonna stop rambling, and I shall show you my progress in the next vlog where I'm gonna do a plot tour. So stay tuned for that. But thank you all for watching, liking and subscribing, and if you haven't done so, please consider. And I hope you all have had a lovely summer and a lovely bank holiday. All I can say is lovely job.